A lot of y'all thought y'all was arguing with a fake profile online. I love when that happened. I love when y'all assume you get on the internet and you like, oh, damn, this person too big, too busy, too big. They ain't got time to reply to the comments. Me, and for mine, I got time.
Yeah, Gavin was responding to all the comments.
Look, I have time, and if I didn't have time, I'll let it go. Some of y'all, you know what I realized? A lot of y'all like birds. Y'all date basic bitches, and it's cool.
But we've always said that on this pod is that men like birds.
Absolutely, and nothing's wrong with dating birds and liking birds. But you got to know when you talking to a dude who
you don't have to approve their behavior though.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is my wife got a kick out of everything. She was like, "Dang, Karina talking shit. Damn, they said you ain't got no hoes." I was like, yo, you gotta chill. She was like, damn, they really saying you can't get girls on the internet.
You can't get. Hey, you know what? No, that's so indicative of the internet, right? Like the first thing you want to do is shame somebody. Look, real talk. I did not think that was that big of a fucking conversation. I really.
Because I really would have went in if I would have known.
Yeah, so you never know what's going to go viral. So I reached out to my homegirl that's a germaphobe, right?
Okay.
And I was like, hey, when you go to a restaurant, I was like, do you put your silverware into like a cup or whatever? And she was like, it depends on where I'm at.
Yeah.
Right? So back to your point of going to Brooklyn Chop House. Again, I can't believe we're talking about this going into the second week, but the clip has 20,000 views.
27.
27,000 views, right?
And that ain't even counting TikTok, where they tear my ass up over there too.
So I asked her, I was like, do you do that? And she was like, depending where I'm at, she was like, I asked for a hot cup of water. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I'll put it in there. And then she was like, I'll use like a paper towel or a napkin to clean it off. Because she was like, if not, you just transfer the germs. And I was like, you know what? That's semi-ghetto still.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, it's still semi-ghetto. I was like, because if I come to your restaurant and I trust your food, that I don't see at all, by default, I should trust your silverware and your cups and your plates, right? If I trust your food,
yes, I have to.
Then I should trust everything else. So look, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I saw where everybody was coming from, but if I'm sitting at a 3.5 star or a 4-star restaurant,
yes,
I'm going to assume that my silverware and everything is clean. Now I am going to look at it, and if it's not clean, I'm gonna ask for another set. If my glass is if it has
lipstick on it.
If it have lipstick on it, I'm leaving, because that means that ain't nobody washing shit back
Absolutely.
there. But if it's just have like dishwasher spots on it, I'm just asking for another one. Like, I'm trusting
the process,
right? If I didn't trust the process, I wouldn't be here at all. To sort of defend Gavin's point of what he was saying last week, we did not know y'all were going to go in on that.
Absolutely, because if I did would have knew that, I would have had a deeper conversation. I would have talked about y'all plates. Because if you cleaning silverware, then why are you eating off dirty plates? For those who do not know, I married a woman who went to culinary school. I worked in a hotel where everybody except for me went to culinary school. So with that, I worked for the Ritz-Carlton. Let me just get that out of the way. All right. I know y'all never giving us a sponsorship, so I don't mind putting y'all on blast. With that being said, silverware, cups, and plates get washed the exact same way through the same machine, right? Now, one thing that most people don't know, that's my phone, probably somebody calling me to tell me to shut up. But what most people do not know, in nice establishments, silverware actually gets polished, hand polished with somebody wearing gloves with a clean napkin, right? The thing that y'all don't get, y'all take them same dirty ass linen where people been wiping their face, hands, napkins, and y'all cleaning y'all silverware with
fingertips, because I do that all the time. Like while I'm eating, I swear I get the table.
Then y'all eating off of plates where we just clean them off and we stack them to air dry near the floor or near the top of the ceiling. Y'all don't even want to know what's going on. So I was just laughing at there. And then also, it was the birds who was like, yo, I need lemons in my water, who was complaining about the silverware. If y'all do not know what all restaurants do with lemons, you would never squeeze a lemon or throw a lemon in your water again. But y'all didn't get there, and I'm cool with that. It was super funny. Now, also, before we go to the next thing, y'all lucky I ain't talk about tipping. Because we started talking about when people walk in restaurants, when a server comes to a table, when they see a group of, let's say a particular group sitting at a table, go ask your favorite server, yo, if there's a group of one subset or people at a table, who is getting up? What are you trying to transfer your table when you see these group of people at a table? And I ain't gonna say who it is, but it's one actual group. If you work at any restaurant, they'll be like, yo, nah.
Gavin does not stop with the fight.
Absolutely not. But I'm gonna let y'all live. Also, May 19th, we will be at No Grease Barbershop, where AlphaMALE Nailcare. Shout out to Sheena. We love you. We can't wait to come and rock with y'all on May 19th. It's a Friday. It's at 7 o'clock. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a great time. We're celebrating. I think we're celebrating, right?
Well, remembering Kevin Samuels. Now,
yes. Y'all already been on my ass, and I blamed it all on Mike. And
what did I do?
I was just telling everybody, I'm like, yo, Kevin Samuels was Mike's boy, man. He loved Kevin.
Y'all, first off, hey, we definitely miss Kevin in the space.
Oh gosh.
So let's be clear there.
Oh gosh.
But I mean, I wasn't a fan in the sense of like, yo, I listen to. I can't listen to like long, drawn out things. It has
Absolutely.
to be succinct, concise, and you got to get to the point. So I like those type of shows. And his show was always too long, but I always love the clips the next days because it kind of exposed like what people actually say happened. And the reason I really wasn't a fan, quote unquote, of Kevin per se is most of the things that he was talking about. If you've been in the space of philosophy or black intellectualism, not even black intellectualism, manosphere in general, like before it became Red Pill,
yeah,
a lot of those guys you knew who he listened to and who he heard from, and if you actually know Kevin from the beginning because Kevin is out of Atlanta, I would see a lot of his old content. Like it's a lot of guys in the manosphere that I follow now that you guys would even know, right?
Yeah.
But when they blow up, the next 2 to 3 years, hell, this pod will be one of the pods. Right?
Absolutely.
If I keep 2 years, like if you're here now, in 2 years, you're gonna be like, oh man, I followed them guys from the beginning. Kevin was actually one of those guys, and like his evolution in a 2-year period from like the guy that he was to the guy that he became, you could tell who he was listening to and the philosophies that he was putting in. So it's like it wasn't new information, and the conversation that Kevin was having were pretty much just conversation that men used to have in the barbershop when we had barbershop.
Yeah.
Like, and I remember like when I was balding, like, and I would shave my head, you still go to the barbershop, right? Like you go and hang out, sit down, hang out with the fellows.
Yeah.
Still politic and have those conversations at the barbershop. They're not like that anymore. Like barbershops now are more like quiet lounges almost.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Even at No Grease, you can go get your nails done. You can. They got drinks. They got a full bar in there. It is, and also for shits and giggles, the barbershop. It's more women in there now. Y'all be dropping off y'all badass sons.
It's a soft lounge.
That's why these damn barbers cost so much. Barbers are now charging like $50 because they got to babysit y'all damn sons. Y'all in there, y'all drop off y'all kids, then go run around the shopping center.
I don't know why barbershops cost so much now.
I just told you why.
You did.
I hit up Nail. Nail was like, yeah, because I sent Nail some prices when I was in Times Square for the barbershop. Every time I go to a barbershop, I send Nail prices. And he was like, man, them good prices. And I was like, bro, you know what? I just realized how much extra work besides cutting. Now, the one thing I cannot get down with barbershops is I don't understand why it costs more to get a fade than to get to keep all my hair on. It's BS, but whatever. Y'all got y'all own.
How much is a fade right now in the barbershop?
Head and fade is $30.
$30 for a kid's fade. So a man's fade is what, 40?
About 45.
45?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Plus tip.
Plus the tip, bro.
So it's $54 for a fade.
Bruh, ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember when we was young. You used to get your hair cut like on a Tuesday because it wasn't busy.
Yeah.
And then you would go and get a shape up. Like, do they even do shape ups anymore?
Yeah, but they still cost like $25.
Yeah, like you would go get a shape up like a Friday morning, man, so you can get through the weekend. Like
now they getting it.
Dude, you talking about like that used to would run you, that and a shape up used to run you maybe $30 with tip.
Bro, when I was
maybe
a kid,
$30.
I was getting my head and face done. It was $20 plus tip, man.
Yeah.
And it was like that was it.
Big up to the barbershops to give you money, though.
Bruh.
I would never hate on people getting their money.
Absolutely.
Y'all not getting that money from me with this right here, though.
Look,
that
hey,
ain't happening.
and I'm about to be close behind you. I do love. Look, I told y'all, all y'all other shit talking comments, I let live. Talk about my hair. I gotta come for you. Other than that,
hey man,
sensitive.
They were getting on your ass.
They was on. I loved it, but like I said, it wasn't funny when my wife said, "Y'all told me I can't get no hoes." That wasn't fair. But I can look.
Well, you can't anymore.
I can't. And she had the jokes. All right. Now, the funny part about last week, we had a lot packed into one little hour episode, right? Yes. We touched on Marquise Houston a little bit, touched on Brian McKnight a good little bit. But the real point of last week's episode was about Eboni Williams and the fallout. Now, since then, Eboni Williams has found a way to delete her Twitter. She found it.
Oh, I know she took it private. She deleted it?
Yeah, she took it down because they was tearing her ass up. You know what I'm saying? She did explain herself about why she's no longer practicing law. And
so I saw that TikTok. She was like, what she wasn't practicing.
Do you believe it?
Well, she said it was the fees, so I went and looked up how much the fees cost, to keep your law license.
Like $300.
$380. So there's a lot of what she said that was problematic, but when you grow up and there's never any accountability, because so true to form, I was like, there's a lot of activities that's happening right now and it's making me want to play my favorite game of, is there a father in the house? And when I went and looked it up, of course she didn't grow up with the father, and I was just like, not only does a lot of this make sense, I have no intentions of even engaging in this conversation anymore because there's no point in her life where she's really had to look at herself, right? What I don't like is when I feel like you're banging on the regular dudes, right?
Black men,
black men, right? So
they love when you shoot black men bail.
Yeah, I don't like that because those guys put in just as much work as anybody else. And to be honest, most men, if they are hardworking, if you got a CDL or if you have a trade, this idea that these dudes are making less than $60,000 a year is false.
Yeah.
Like these dudes are making the same amount of money. Now they're busting their ass a lot of times, right? Let's not get it twisted. These guys are driving and working 12-hour days.
Yeah.
But they are getting paid. So I didn't like this ideal of I'm at this level now where any man that makes less money than me, when she has a TikTok, unless she took it down, that was like, yeah, I couldn't practice law in California, but I was building my reel because I wanted to be on air. So I was working as a document reviewer, making $25 to $30 an hour, which means she was making 25. Because if she was making 30, she would have said 30, right? So it's like she's dropping all these clues. She goes to the show. I never watched the show, but someone is saying that she was her car had got repossessed a year prior of her being on the show, which happens, right? We're not talking about it doesn't happen, right? But the whole point of going through these things and experiencing them and then getting to the point of saying everybody is beneath me, when you have already lived that life.
My mom drove a bus.
If it's one thing that I've learned, it's if you don't learn from lessons, you're going to have to retake that test.
Oh, facts.
You know what I'm saying? And it's
facts.
and that's when it comes to Eboni, it's one of the things that I'm looking at is you've been broke, right? You've been destitute. You've not had, right? In your adult life. You've been the girl on Tinder that's going out to eat.
Facts.
Right? Because if you living in California making $25 an hour and you can't afford your car note or whatever it is, right? You
could have stayed in Charlotte.
Yeah, real talk. You not eating in California, man. You at taco trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you going on dates dressing nice and you nah, we ain't meet for drinks.
Yeah, no, I need a meal. And I'm washing my silverware at the table.
I need a meal.
She definitely not the type who's washing silverware.
She's definitely the type that probably is asking for a cup of water, dude.
Absolutely.
She's from Betty's Ford.
Yeah,
she's absolutely.
What threw me off was, so her explanation, it made sense to me, right? But I have, how do I say this nicely? I've said this plenty of times, and if you've been following the podcast, I don't believe shit on the internet. I understand marketing. I understand backtracking. I understand positioning when it comes to marketing. So with that, the thing that disgusted me the most was AU podcast that was shooting her bail when you could have just let her be out there by yourself.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to This Is Scary podcast. Shout out to my girl over there. And me and her had a conversation because it was, there was a conversation about preference and protecting black women. And like I told the host over there, you can't slap black men in the face and say, hey, continue to protect me as I slap you in the face.
And that's a solid point. And even the ideal of protection, right? If it's you can't disagree with me at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, then Yeah, we're never going to be in a place where you are ever going to be under, a man to protect you.
Yeah.
Right? Like that. We got to be able to have some sort of conversation of when an out of bounds comment is made, at least.
Absolutely. And then, the other thing that really got me hot was there became this conversation over the past week of women settling. And bruh, I'm here to say it, and I might be completely wrong, and I have no problem doing like how I did at the beginning of this podcast, even though I didn't backtrack. I don't have a problem with saying I was wrong. I don't believe women settle as much as they think. And if we do talk about settling, I do want to have the conversation of what does settling for men look like and what do settling for women look like? Because in all intents and purposes, the topic of settling for women comes into play when they have to take on a man that makes less than them. However, men settling does not look like them taking on women that make less than them.
Yeah.
And I do want to talk about what does it look like when men settle and what does it look like when women settle? Because men, what does that really look like?
Gavin say he didn't get enough heat from the silverware. He actually want to go deeper into the heat today.
Nah, I just would have told y'all black women can't tip, but I ain't do that. I ain't go that route. I didn't tell y'all that y'all got a problem with tipping. When a group of y'all sit down at the table, nobody don't say nothing about y'all tipping. But no, seriously, and all jokes aside, like what does that look like? Because I was asking that question.
What was some of the responses that you received back from the ladies?
Why do women settle, and then why black women don't?
Because
that's all it was.
Here's the thing, because I doubted that question was even answered, right?
It was not answered at all.
So, all right,
because I was telling women, let me put it like this. This is what was happening. Women were saying, yo, why is it a problem with women settling? And why is it a problem with women having preferences? I then asked the question, when have men ever told y'all they have a problem with y'all preferences? And I got left on red many a times. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen. And I'm not here to talk about the 10% representing the 90.
No. Yeah.
Because in all intents and purposes, when black women tend to date white men, it's fine. When they date Hispanic men, even though these are lower numbers than men, so I'm not even doubting that. But when that happens, men sit there. It's cool. When y'all say, hey, I only want to date chocolate men that's over 6 foot, that's cool. Like men just say, all right, cool. I don't play ball. I'm not a ball player.
So when a woman settles, what does it look like? Is it just
always,
money?
Yes, it's always. So it's always me. That's what I'm coming to realize.
All right. So we need the ladies to come and defend. What does it look like when a woman is settling? But I mean, I'm just gonna say this. I don't really. You can't get me with the conversation of men don't make enough money when the whole point of feminism, right? If you want to lie about the point of feminism, right?
Yeah,
it was equity and equality.
Absolutely.
Right. So like even I went back and watched Ayanna and Eboni K clip on the griot. And I will say, like, after I watched the whole clip, it was misrepresented to an extent.
Absolutely, but that's they doing.
Yeah, that's their doing, right?
And they did that on purpose.
They did it on purpose. But when I went back in there, one of the things that Eboni said, she was like, on Pew Research, it had said that women are making just as much money as men, right?
That's false.
So I went and pulled up the article, and what it said is that they did 250 metropolitan areas, and there were certain cities where women made more money than men, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the 250 cities, like how many cities do you think it was?
For her to make that comment, it better at least been like 40%.
Okay.
For her to make that comment.
I would agree, right? You would think it is a high percentage, right? So 40% would be what, 90?
Yeah.
So it was 22. It was 22 metropolitan areas.
Come on, bro.
Out of 250 where women made more money than men. Now, 2 of those cities was actually New York City and LA, right? So the women actually, 2 liberal cities, 2 high education cities.
Entertainment cities, but whatever.
Finance, entertainment in one, and entertainment and tech in the other, right?
Absolutely.
So, which would mean that everybody's working for major companies that probably have major HR departments, which are making sure that there isn't any pay inequity, right? Yeah. So when they said that like women make more money in these 2 places, right? So like how much more money do you think they made?
For her to make that comment, you got to at least be making like 20-30% more.
Okay. It was 102%, which means that for the 100,000, take 100. Anybody at home right now, your calculator. Take 100,000.
Yes.
Multiply it times 102%, right? It's literally 2%, right? So the women were making 102,000. The men were making 100,000.
That was the big,
and that's in the article. And Eboni is an attorney.
Bro, that's the thing. When we're not having an accountability question,
Yes.
which was the whole topic, by the way.
Yeah.
But when we not being accountable, we give false information.
Yes.
So and then the funny part is, I think the scariest women on this world, it's actually one subset of women I think is scary, but I won't do that because
yeah, okay, get canceled.
I don't want to get canceled.
We know what the scary women are in this world.
I'm going to just say that black women would be on my side if I said it.
Yes, absolutely.
But the second scariest women on this planet to me is women who know better, but speak in the opposite. Let me give you an example. It's the woman who's married that has kids, but always posts articles and topics and memes about men and shit.
Yeah, about men and shit and baby daddies and stuff.
It's like,
and she's happy with her husband. She does everything for her. But we actually see this, speaking of the women that we don't want to talk about, we actually see this with conservative women a lot, right?
Yes.
Like conservative women will actually be like Kellyanne.
Absolutely.
Right? Most conservative woman, in the world, married to a liberal husband, right?
Absolutely.
We see this with a
daughter.
Yeah, with a daughter.
Let's specify.
Yeah, so it's like the Eboni Ks are dangerous, right? Now, the reason why I brought that up is if women see that if you date a man with less money, right? Like $102,000 to $100,000, and you're saying, well, that's settling. Well, it's part of feminism, right? This is, if it was what you say it was, and it's not, but if it was what you said it was, it would be equity, right? Like we would both have the same.
Facts.
So that means that when we get to the top, there can't be a more top.
Facts. And then but let's do this. Let's be fair. What does settling look like for men? You in this dating pool somewhat, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Typically settling for men means that you're either taking in another man's child or you're taking in a woman that's not really what you're attracted to. She's everything else, except for like what you want. That's typically what settling is for men. And
so women, we need y'all to answer. What is
we're going to get absolutely ripped on that comment. But and you know what?
I'm here for it.
We're going to get ripped on that comment.
I'm going to be busy next week.
But at the end of the pod, we actually got a segment that we're going to play for y'all. Yeah. And we're going to talk about that shit.
Hey, y'all could tear me up next week. I'm actually going to be super busy, so I won't have time to comment on y'all. But
what does settling look like for women? I don't know. It seems like it's money, but if women are making the same amount of money as men.
You know what? I will give it this.
How is that selling anymore?
Well, we know they don't make them that much. And then I loved how...
Well, 22 cities, right?
Look, 22. And it was funny on Ebony's comments on Twitter. Women was posting false information. And I got to give it up to black women. Y'all was tearing her ass up on Twitter.
Yeah.
I will say that. Now, that might go into my women don't like women's segment, but y'all know how that go. Also, I have spoken to women. Sometimes they date dudes who, he can't pull girls that look like me. But I'm giving him a chance because he's a nice guy.
I would say that would be a woman settling. But let's be clear, right? She's still not. He either has resources, he worships the ground that she walks on.
Yeah, and
he's like a gorilla in the bedroom, right? Like it's not like she's taking a charity case, right? There's a benefit, from this, and there's a benefit for men too. Like I don't want to say that being a stepdad is settling. Per se, because life happens, but like most men, do want their own children, and in these scenarios now, when it comes to being a step parent, it's crazy out here, right? You have these are my kids now, nothing to do with the biological dad, and then you have these scenarios where
Brian McKnight.
Yeah, Brian McKnight, where he's like, fuck my biological, like the two extremes are so far apart.
Brian McKnight, I looked into some of your shit. You are a piece of shit.
He's a fuck boy.
I actually shot a client who knows his son.
Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. I ain't gonna lie. He did say Brian McKnight's son is an asshole. So he was like, He said, look, I can't say what his dad is doing right, but I just tell you, I met his son. I know his son. I hung around his son, and he's a dick. Yeah. But Brian McKnight, what you did with your daughter, the defamation case, I don't know if you saw like that and making her go through her sexual history. Yeah. But that's disgusting, dog. Yeah. Like it was really disgusting. You are a piece of shit.
I would expect a piece of shit man to not have like the best sons, right?
Absolutely.
But I don't think we knew that back then. Like we look at the Brian McKnight that was listening to his music, right? I don't think we was like, damn, is this dude a fuck boy? Like Cisco in the Thug song, I'd probably be like, yeah, Cisco probably a fuck boy. And he probably isn't, right? Brian McKnight with, Love of My Life, I'm thinking that he's a solid guy. And he isn't.
Hey, man, what's up with Eva? Yo, y'all know I love Eva from America's Next Top Model.
Eva Pigford. She don't go by that anymore.
Absolutely.
That's how you know I love her, because that's what I was introduced to Eva as.
Absolutely. Look.
So
she getting a divorce.
And the dude is. So this is kind of trending because everybody's like, yo, the dude is going to have to pay child support. Speaking of stepdad, for a child that is not his. Y'all know my take on this. I am not the most anti-child support man. I do think that you do need to take care of your kid. I get that it is rough. I do think that mothers sometimes go above board trying to punish a man through support as well. But with all that being said, hey, you adopt another man's child and you and the child mother get divorced. Hey, you wanted Rihanna flex, so here you go.
Look,
here you go.
Yeah, I don't get, and I know we do this a lot, bro, and I don't think it's fair. We get mad when the system don't work in our favor.
Well, I mean, I don't think we get mad. I think we always know it. I just think that we don't expect to get railroaded. I mean, when our intentions are good in the beginning.
Yeah, if I adopt your kids, I am saying these kids are mine.
Yeah.
First of all, if you dating, I am of the mindset when you marry a woman with stepkids, it's your job to protect and support those kids.
Yes. Now it's also here's the thing though, and this is where I get on you guys a lot.
Yeah.
It is your job to reach out to the biological father.
Oh, absolutely.
Period, point blank. Like
don't be Russell Wilson.
Even if there isn't a relationship between the biological father and those children,
yeah,
it is your job to find out who that dude is, where he is, and periodically check. And I know a lot of y'all gonna eat me up, but it's like, yo, you're going to have to deal with this problem at some point.
Yeah.
Like, it is not like you just keep sweeping it under the rug. Like, unless the dude is dead,
yeah,
you're going to have to deal with this problem at some point, man. Like D.L. Hughley talks about it. Like when he, when he finally saw his biological dad, like I can't think of the other. But it was another like athlete that was like, yo, like I finally met my biological father. Like you're going to have to deal with it. So why wouldn't you want to get ahead of it?
Yeah, and that is a part of life. But yeah, bro, y'all get a divorce. She's getting spousal support either way. And
I'm kind of torn on spousal support. Fuck that.
I ain't. I think it should be limited. I think it should be a certain amount of time.
Like, I mean, if she's like a housewife and can't work,
yeah,
all right, yeah, maybe spousal support. But bruh, if she's Eva Pigford, Eva Pigford can make money. All right,
she could, but what's she gonna make?
She can make money, dude. She can host stuff. She can do things like
these.
She's
bitches,
she's in Atlanta.
I don't mean hoes, but y'all go host shit, and y'all gotta stop lying. Y'all be getting $1,200 in a bottle, and they get y'all drunk behind the scenes, and then that's all they get.
I mean, like she could do work in Atlanta. I don't believe in spousal support.
Speaking of Atlanta, Usher and Chris Brown, let's have a conversation.
Have we gotten a full story yet? Because Chris Brown said he did not do anything.
Usher is acting like he didn't. I mean, but that's
Usher's acting like it didn't happen. Tiana is kind of saying that we overblowed it. So I guess we have to speak as if it did happen.
And so if it did happen, and if Jason Lee, the chatty patty that he is telling the truth. Apparently, what happened is Chris Brown saw Tiana Taylor at his surprise birthday party. He was not happy. He was going back to his tour bus. Usher was following him. Usher got on the tour bus. They had an altercation, and then they both performed. Usher sang to him an hour before that, and then they sang together a few hours later than that. That's what we're supposed to believe. Now, I will say this. If a man is leaving a situation, you do not follow that man, especially when he's upset.
Yes.
I was never a musical artist. I never will be. But yeah, when me and Mike get big and we go on tour, Mike can't get on my tour bus if I'm upset. Mike, if I'm getting away from Mike,
I will have no reason to walk on Gavin's bird bus. Trust me.
My tour bus gonna be lit.
Definitely be a bird bus.
Absolutely. I don't know. I just found this all funny. Now this is the verses that we wanted. We know that's the joke there. Also, I am here to double, triple down, and quadruple down. If there's a versus between Usher and Chris Brown is getting washed. And it won't be fair.
I don't know, man. It would be close. Chris got hits, man.
Usher got hits.
Usher got hits too.
Usher has hits.
Again, I think sometimes we forget that when Chris Brown was coming along, we but pre the Rihanna stuff, there was a conversation.
Absolutely.
Is Chris Brown the next Michael Jackson?
There was that conversation.
Like, that conversation actually existed, man. I think the Rihanna thing just threw everything off, but he still produces a ton of hits. And evidently he owned his masters because he don't care how he put an album together.
Nah, he definitely owned his masters. I'm just saying.
Chris be like, I'm just going to throw 70 songs out here.
70 songs.
I don't even care which ones you listen to.
My favorite part about Chris, though, my favorite part about Usher, I'm going to put it like this. Usher got a diamond album. And if you start looking up artists that have diamond albums, you'll realize that it's not as common as we want to make it.
No, Usher, that Confessions and that Confessions too.
Bruh. When Burn come on, look, we can go to 87 on 1. First of all, we go before that. When Nice and Slow comes on, Chris ain't got not one song that's gonna beat that. When You Got It Bad come on, You Remind Me comes on, it's nothing you can do. When My Boo
You know what? Real talk, they need to do a versus. That would actually be a dope fucking versus.
It would be dope.
It would be
this
a dope
is not
versus.
it, Chris. And Chris is crazy. That's Virginia. You know.
I do think Chris needs to get in some therapy and counseling, like for real.
Absolutely. Anything else before we get out of here, before we play our little fun video?
You know what? I gotta correct myself. This happened last week. So I was on one of the guys that I do follow. I was on his page and he had on the psychologist on there. Mm-hmm. And I'll be real. Like, and we've played one of the dude clips before, so y'all already know I'm biased against liking his material.
Okay.
And like
I like that.
I am. And I had went and I made a comment in the comment section, and I don't want to say what the topic was because I don't want to besmirch him in my apology. But one of the things that I did have to apologize for, I had said I had called him a shitty man, right? And it was in the context of a conversation, so I just didn't post it in the comment section like you're a shitty man. But like, you know, people were rebutting what I had said, and I was like, yo, we don't have to excuse shitty man light bulb moments, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, a couple people responded to it. It was still being light. But I went back, and after I saw it, this is probably like 2 days later, I was like, hey, I got to be accountable for this, right? I'm not going to delete the thread.
Facts.
I need to apologize for calling this man a shitty man. I don't know him. I disagree with his point of view.
Facts.
Vehemently disagree with his point of view, but I don't know him. And I think sometimes because of the internet, now don't get it twisted, I will call you shitty to your face. There's nothing that I will say online that I would not say to your face.
Mike is not scared of y'all.
So, but it's but I was also the reason why I respect people, you know, greatly, because it's like, yo, I don't want to hurt your feelings for the sake of hurting your feelings.
Facts.
So I just want to say, like, that was kind of an accountability moment. Is that sometimes, you know, on the internet, we kind of go in a little too hard on people because we think that, you know, that's not a real person on the other side. That person don't really have feelings. And, you know, that dude that was in that video that probably has 20, 30,000 people that's following him, that comment, he actually went to my page because he went through like some of the views, right? So I saw that he went through some of the things that I had posted. Oh, gosh. And, you know, and I didn't send a personal apology to him because I do think what he said was fucked up. But I did want to hold myself accountable online to be like, yo, I made a mistake, right? Like, even though y'all agree with me, even though, you know, I look like I'm the bigger person right now, I still made a mistake in when I said something. I shouldn't have did that. So we do have to be just as loud in our, you know, apologies, you know, Thanks. That we are in our condemnation of people. So that's just an accountability moment for myself.
Okay, so I'll be accountable. Do not get up from the table when she clean her silverware. Pay for the meal. Pay for the meal. Don't call her again. All right? That's me being nice. Also, I don't judge. Also, no offense to who this may offend. We love you, bruh. I understand if you want to clean off your Waffle House silverware. Me?
Get plasticware at the Waffle House, please.
Please. And y'all know why. Like, it's just Waffle House.
It's
and stop going to Waffle House fighting. You know what I'm saying? But, look, if you at a 5-star restaurant, 4-star, I understand if you at Applebee's. I understand if you got a bird and y'all decided to go to, what y'all used to have? Liz Thicket.
Well, no, that is not a bird restaurant, man. That's fine family dining. A bird restaurant would be like Olive Garden.
Damn.
They
about to tear your ass up. They love Italian. Look.
Microwave noodles in the back, bro. Like, that's a bird restaurant. All right?
Applebee's, Chili's. I like Chili's.
I like Chili's.
Me
I like
too.
Chili's.
And that's the thing I think y'all missing. It's like, yo, nobody's. I don't know how we got back on that. Before we get out of here, let me see. Let me play this. Hold on.
We had a.
Oh, I ain't.
I'm not.
Oh shit. See, here we go again. Mike, they trying to get us,
My
man.
producer don't know what he's doing. Talking all this shit on these other pods. They don't never make these mistakes.
And Arthur Bryant's Barbecue.
We
had a phenomenal day today.
Like
Nigger League Museum and Arthur Bryant's Barbecue.
All right, even though we didn't mean to play that. He did
let's talk about it. Did you play it all the way through though?
Yeah, I played it. He said the Nigger League.
All right, so here's the thing though. Didn't we just have a pod like 2 pods ago when we was like, yo,
talking about Angel.
They not no one gets fired for saying nigger anymore.
Nah, not at all.
No, like for real, man. It's like this is why in this country, if you are an apologist, like if you are a black person and you're an apologist, like I wipe my hands of you completely.
Facts.
Because these are things that we could not get away with saying, right? Kanye made a comment, did not besmirch anybody's name, right? Mm-hmm. And then he got completely canceled. This dude, it took like a week for them to suspend him.
Bruh.
And he clearly said the Nigger League.
Did you see his co-host? He didn't even blink like, oh, shit.
It expressly bothered me because if you go and watch any of our YouTube videos, the majority of the time that I'm on here, I'm wearing a Negro League baseball shirt.
Absolutely.
So it's like, yo, that really bothered me. But the fact that like he ain't even, bruh, man, fuck out of here.
You know what's
I can't say what I want to say, so I'm rambling.
We can't. You can't. I'm trying to save Mike. Mike be trying to save me, and I don't listen, but I really got to save him. I really need. He listens though. You know what? I'm starting to realize, and in our group chat this week, somebody said, "Yo, do y'all believe this?" I'm really starting to think that it's like, hey, bro, I'm about to get on here and say Nigger League. Just let's see if I can get away with it.
Yeah.
I'm really starting to think people doing stupid stuff to get out of contracts, to get hype. Like my favorite joke, not to go back to Ebony, was I told somebody, I said 2 women was talking about women and it was only women in the room, but her company chopped the only part that they know was about men to get the reaction. I believe shit like this happens.
Yeah,
bro,
I know. Yeah. Sometimes, yeah. You know what? I'm starting to be a believer of it myself. Is that sometimes it's just for the reaction.
Absolutely.
But I mean, we live in a society where we have bred so many weak ass men, right?
Yeah.
And I know we the Black Dads Club. Gavin likes to tell me that I have masculinity in the headlock, and I do.
You do.
And I do because if we don't really stand up and hold ourselves accountable and make ourselves better men. Like, there's nobody that's going to come and save you, right? Like, you are the hero that you're waiting on. Mm-hmm. And if we're going to sit here and think, like, dude, I'm in another Black Dads group, right? So not our Black Dads group, because I never let this shit get this weak. But, like, the dude makes a comment, him and his wife is going through a divorce, right? They have a 5-year-old son. And he was like, his wife told the son that mommy and daddy don't love each other anymore, right? And he was like, yo, I feel like that's inappropriate to tell a 5-year-old, right? I feel like we could have explained that better, right? Half of the men in the comment section is telling him, no, that's okay. Don't lie to your son, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, no, this is cap. He's a kid. The child is literally a child.
You talking about the Facebook group we in?
Yeah.
I think it's women in that group.
I'm starting to think it too. And I'm just like, no, what you mean? Like, no, part of being a parent is protecting your child from adult things. There's no child that looks at both his parents and is like, oh yeah, I love dad more than I love mom, right?
Yeah.
Or I love mom more than I love dad. When I was going through my divorce, for about a 6-week period, I did not see my son until we got a couple things finalized, right? Yeah. And my son was like 2 years old, and I'll never forget, like, you know, I'm meeting his mom, pick up my child, and I'm like, dang, my son ain't gonna remember me, right? Because it's been 6 weeks, he's 2 years old, right? Like it's a random dad thought. And like, dude, when I show up and I get out the car and then like I like put my hands out to reach for him, he reaches for me, right? He's ready to come to his dad, right? He ain't seen me in 6 weeks. He knows who his father is. That's who children are, bro.
Facts.
When my son was younger and I had him, he'd always whine for his mother, right?
Yeah.
When his mother would have him, he's whining for his dad,
Facts.
right? When he's mad at his mom, he's like, I want to come live with my dad. He says this now, and I'd be like, boy, cut that out. Yeah. Right? When he's over there, guess what he's telling her? I want to live with my dad. When he's with me, guess what he's telling her?
Take me back home.
Take me back, right? It's like, and this is the problem of raising kids in split homes. And this is where we do have to look at the error of our ways and not to keep rambling. To go back to the original point of, we are creating this environment, right? Like, having these weak men create this environment to whereas we are being disrespected now publicly, right?
Yeah.
That people think that you can just go on air and say the nigger baseball league,
bro,
and there's no repercussions for that, right? Dude, there was a time when a motherfucker would say something like that, you'd be like, yo, I hope he don't get punched by a random person walking out of this booth.
Absolutely. And look, and it was that time of, you remember back in the day, they would find a presidential candidate. They needed to find one sexist or racist comment.
Yeah.
And that person's
was
campaign was done.
Yeah.
It was just like, sometimes they would just get you out the way early.
I feel like we done ran out of people because
look, now it's just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, you can just say what you want, and it's, you know,
say what you want.
Part
you
of that is the fact that we're not where we need to be in our homes, that our community is just being disrespected like this because this dude is evidently, there's nobody in this man's circle that's going to hold him accountable for saying that.
Not at all. Look, man, I want to thank y'all. Look, June 10th, go ahead and get y'all tickets. I'm telling y'all right now, this shit gonna sell out. Like we're gonna talk about that more next week. However, on May 19th, we can't wait to see y'all at AlphaMALE Nailcare. We're gonna be talking about Kev. We're gonna let Mike get his shit off. I'm gonna be over there.
I would be nice, man. I would be nice, but yeah, definitely come and hang out.
I'm shooting all birds bail.
Hey, Gavin is the bird feeder. Hey, man, play the clip with the chick saying.
Hold on, here we go.
Never had so good that you just immediately think, who hurt you? Certain levels of demon time can only be obtained by trauma. It's no way you sucking my toe like this while you in missionary. If you had a peaceful life, respectfully, that don't mean I'm not going to do it again.
That clip is funny. That wasn't the clip though, but that is funny.
Oh,
though.
this the one you. This the only one you sent?
No. But hey, let's talk about that clip real quick. Like, okay, women, like, great sex do not always come from trauma. I sent you the clip. It does not always come from trauma, man. Like you don't have to have trauma to have great sex. Some people are just good at sex, man.
You sent me 2 clips,
right? Like you don't have to be a fat person to be a good cook, right?
I don't know, but it is kind of weird when people are overweight and they not good cooks, right? Like nobody looks at me and say, "Yo, bro can really cook." You know what I'm saying? But if I was heavier, they'd probably
so it's like, come on, man. Like if we can have skinny good cooks, you don't have to have trauma to have good sex. That's the clip. This is the clip that I want you to play.
All right, here we go.
Pet peeve. Gentlemen, please don't do this to bitches.
Oh.
Keep trying to stop putting soft,
That's the gummy. Hold on.
dicks in
He
women.
said,
That's the half
Public
gummy.
service announcement. Stop putting semi-soft dicks in women. We don't want it. We don't want to feel it grow. Like,
Wait a minute.
There's
some pushback. If I put the half in and that shit grow up in there, we gotta go.
Do I feel like I'm doing something?
Like in the
Because
morning?
I do.
But don't get soft and think that we don't notice.
But don't get soft and keep trying to put your soft, flaccid dick in my and it's not staying.
Well, that's when you gotta go to the bathroom and talk to your dick.
They're not gonna tell the truth, bro. That's why I wanted this clip to play. Like they did not tell the girl the truth.
Ladies, public service announcement. If a man is putting his semi-flaccid peen inside of you, it's because you have not turned him on hard enough. He is not excited. You have not did your job. He thinks if I get it in there, maybe, bruh, wake up. Maybe I can close my eyes and think about some other shit to get me there. But I just need the feeling. Most of the time, he's probably thinking about a porn star, your sister, his ex, your mom, somebody else in his family.
Going way.
I'm sorry. We are no longer. Look, I'm at the house last week, and my brother-in-law goes, "Bro, I thought you was being nicer this year." I said, "No, I told y'all I am not being nicer this year. I am not lying to women, and I'm not arguing with women." So, ladies, I'm telling y'all the truth.
Hey, man,
if he puts it in there and he's soft,
he's not turned on.
He's not turned on.
He's not turned on,
That's
man.
all I gotta
He's
say.
not turned. So that's why I wanted to play it, because I'm like, okay, not wet enough, my fault. If it's a gummy, my fault.
Gummy
if you
is
don't
hilarious.
come, my fault.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, okay, at some point we have to realize that, like, yo, we are sexually incompatible. And that goes back to the conversation we talked about settling, right? Because I was like, yo, I do think that sometimes the ideal of, like, men not being turned on is so offensive, you know, to women. And, like, I'm going to tell you, like, as a guy, like, the older you get, like, I'll get to the point where I'm just like, man, like, if a woman doesn't turn me on, I give y'all a terrible example, but a quick story, right? I love natural women, right?
Yeah.
Natural nails, low makeup, natural hair. Like, that's just my thing. No offense to anybody that does anything opposite, right? Just my personal preference, right? Anyway, I remember one night I was with this girl and she had on a wig.
Yeah.
Right. So and it came off during the middle of like and like I was done. Like I could not.
Did she have it braided?
She had on the cap. Bruh.
Oh God.
Bruh. Like when I tell you, I couldn't even like that was it. Like I faked like I came. I was like, yeah, I came. Right. So
fake coming is so funny. When you have to do it your first time, that shit is hilarious.
Yeah. So to that point, those men, per usual of men, right? We are never honest about, the things that we really, really want and need,
Facts.
In the bedroom. Like, if there's a gummy, like he's not turned on.
Yeah.
And sometimes to turn on, it isn't more head because y'all are excited and you're going way too fast, and that is not my dick sucking motion. You're using another motherfucking dick sucking motion. Give me my dick sucking motion, right? So shit works the way it's supposed to work, right? You know what I'm saying? So I got that shit going through my head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You rush it, right? And then I know, and then here's the thing, right? If I'm not 100% turned on, and I know if I get on this box right now and I don't make her come, that she's going to be mad at me because how the hell you waste my 15 minutes this morning and you didn't make it? So it's like, it's so much pressure, and it's like, you're not even turning me on though.
Facts.
You're not turning me on. Like, you gotta turn. There's nothing wrong with me being a guy saying to my woman, like, you gotta turn me on.
Facts, but don't tell them that. Look, man, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. Send this to a friend, especially send the last 10 minutes. That shit is hilarious.
The last 10 minutes
Please.
for sure.
Absolutely, man. And we're going to holler at y'all next time.
Holla at your boy.